well. It's... Oh, hang on. Not coming through. Can't hear myself. Can you hear me? Testing.
Just.
Testing. Yeah, I can't hear myself. Testing.
Hi, boys. Alright. Yeah, good. You? Things alright?
Good. Oh, yeah, it's not coming. Is it coming through your headphones?
Yeah, let's try this.
Every game, keep you behind the net. That's should be.
No, it's not coming through. Hang on. Can I check yours?
What we doing at the start? We're usually coming through that. We're going to be ready.
We'll try and fix it.
That's right. No, I'm all right.
Okay, it was getting good as well. Here we go. We'll check these ones. Testing. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. After 3 big matches of round 6, effort doesn't sound like I'm coming through the mic. It sounds like I'm coming through an effects mic.
Oh, have you got it switched on?
That might be important, Smudge. The on button on the microphone. Well, after three big matches of round 6 FFA Cup action in northern New South Wales, there's just one match to come now, and it's Boambee Bombers taking on Charlestown City Blues, and it will be the North Coast side running from left to right of screen in this opening half. Charlestown, it's Callan Lewis to kick us off. Referees Mark Carter, one of the young northern New South Wales referees, getting his chance in the final match in the FFA Cup. Round 6 of the FFA Cup. The draw will be on after this one. So the final 4 will be decided in the next 90 minutes. We'll find out who will be joining Broadmeadow Magic, Hamilton Olympic and Lambton Jaffers in the final 4 in northern New South Wales. Smudge, can Boambee cause a huge upset? I should say Boambee.
Yeah, maybe. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in this game because at the moment, Charlestown, you know, they started off winning their first 4 games in the NPL and we're on top of the table, but they've been their form's been indifferent in the last 6 weeks, only winning 2 of 6. So, and obviously Boambee undefeated in the Coffs Harbour League, so and they're full of confidence, got momentum at the moment, so it's going to be very interesting. And I'll ask CT, Brady Parker, an old player in the NPL, local NPL, is up against Charlestown today for Boambee.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, he sure is, and he's a player that I've coached in the past, and he's played with Broadmeadow Magic apart from myself at Lake Macquarie. And look, Smudge, to answer your question about Brady, yeah, he's played in this league, he knows all about it, and he'll be no doubt been giving his charges a good clip of what it's all about, and they'll come here with no illusion about how difficult this assignment's going to be. But as we've said on the midweek show, that they're young, they're full of confidence, and their enthusiasm will carry them a long way.
You know, Boambee, they haven't lost this season in the North Coast Men's Premier League. 8 matches, 7 wins and a draw. And in the FFA Cup, they've won 4 matches to get to this point. This one whipped into the middle. Turn and played back to Callan Lewis, and good early confidence booster for Jake Stitt in goals for Boambee. Former Lake Macquarie player. The long hair and the hat.
Yeah, but I think the other thing for Boambee, the local NPL sides in Newcastle have actually trained on this pitch before, so they know the speed of the pitch. They know how obviously the ball sticks underneath your feet. So Boambee's probably the first time they've been on this pitch, or some of the players. So just leave you with this, Bart.
Yeah, Charlestown breaking free. It's Lewis. Dinked up and over the top looking for Ferguson and the run of Smart. But there is a bit of dew on the pitch, so it is going to skid a bit more, as you mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Boambee might take them about 5 or 10 minutes to actually get the feel of the speed of the ball on this pitch and just getting used to the pitch. But, yeah, it's very important for both sides just to passes into feet, because if it goes in front, it's just going to skid on and go out or go to the keeper.
Going to ground there was James Lowe for Boambee. Gave away in decent position for Charlestown. They've defended it well, though. It's Kevin Davidson. Maybe lucky to be playing out there tonight after that challenge a couple of weeks ago against the Jets Youth. That was Charlestown's most recent match. There's a break forward for Moy. He's got men in the middle, France, and he's also got Parker, who fires off an early warning shot, Brady Parker. He's going to be the key man for Boambee in the front third.
Well, boys, he's made his intention very, very clear right there. And speaking to Coach David Tancheski yesterday, he was saying he's well aware of the potential and the danger that he has, and they're a man that they need to shut down because any half opportunity he's going to put them away. And we saw that, and that's a real danger for Charlestown when the ball gets in their third. One big thing is not overplaying, because Brady's now towards 30 years old, so he's probably not as pacey as he was. He wants balls to feet and the opportunity to shoot.
Brandon Wyatt doing well in that right back position.
I think the key here for Boambee is the first 10 or 15 minutes. They need to stay nice and tight, nice and compact, stay in the game the first 15 minutes. We've seen the game earlier where Port led in a few goals nice and early. Lambton got on top and it was hard to stop Lambton. So the key for Boambee is to stay in this game nice and early, get into a rhythm, get into a pattern, get their defensive structure in play and play forward.
Well, in the very early piece, they've come out to play, haven't they? They're certainly going forward, and they're looking like they want to make a score, and that's what they've been used to in their own competition.
Well, there's Sam Crampton launching a long ball towards the Blues box. He loves a good long ball, we're told by Coach Shane Duncan, who's actually the father of Adamstown midfielder Judd Duncan. Played earlier today in the 3-0 defeat to Broadmeadow Magic. Matt Tull onto Miners, who's back from injury, that calf complaint. Here's Salini.
And Salini comes into the middle of the park for Lubo Milicevic.
Yeah, this serves a little too hard for his knees. So is this hit almost dispossessed by Callan Lewis, who's been in some good form lately in the NPL Northern New South Wales. A couple of goals in that competition, 3 in the FFA Cup. Here he is again. Former Cooks Hill man. So going with the outside of his boot towards Matt Tull, but it's Salini.
We've seen already, and we've seen in early games today, with this surface you get just a true run of the ball that just comes natural, and you're able to play a few really good 1-2s in tight situations. So, and the other thing is, and we've noticed in the early games, that playing a high back four and compacting the space makes the opposition very difficult to play. Because any balls through beyond the back four tend to skid onto the goalkeeper or go out. So very important. Balls are played to feet, and you play a nice high line and compact the space.
There's Stitt with the goal kick. Trying to find Penny. He's going to be doing a lot of work down this right flank in the opening half. Christian Penny. He actually has 3 Red Bulls before every game.
Really?
So expect plenty of energy from him early on. Ooh. Tempted flick on from that man Christian Penny. Got the boot up high and the head of Tom Smart. Salini tries to play it forward, but ran into the leg of James Lowe in the midfield. Charlestown win back possession through Matt Tull and the bright orange boots. He goes to ground. Launched wide by Ferguson. That pass not finding its mark from Aidan Gardner.
You get the feeling, Smudge, that Boambee need to be in defence, need to be tighter than they've ever experienced tightness before. They need to, when Charlestown have got the ball, they need to be really super tight to their marker and not give them that half a metre or a metre, because that's where you can get punished. And I guess if they're playing against superior opposition or expected superior opposition, that's what's got to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing one has to be very careful is, obviously we just noticed their forward men in Luke France put pressure on the goalkeeper. They need to defend as a unit. No one out defending or one out pressure on the ball. They need to defend as a unit, stay compact. I reckon 20-25 metres from the point of the defence, i.e. the strikers, to their back four. Keep it condensed, especially in the first opening 20 or so minutes. Need to stay tight.
Callan Lewis, well, he's found some space. He's got Reen Ferguson just behind him. And Lewis's shot, it was a scuff shot straight into the arms of Jake Stitt. Reen Ferguson himself has Really struggled in the goal-scoring sense of late. Hasn't scored in 9 matches in the NPL. 2 cup goals versus Hamilton Azuri and a goal in round 1 against Olympic. That's the only time he's found the back of the net. He was prolific last year for them, their leading scorer. Smart. Is this drizzle getting heavier now? And Smart tracked that down. He'll do well to do so. And that ball just skidding over the byline. It's been a dreary old day in Newcastle. Overcast and rainy on and off. And this doesn't look good here. This is Rain Ferguson who's down. We've mentioned their injury woes this year, Charlestown. Out without Kane Goodchild this evening. Riley McNaughton also out with that season-ending knee injury. Here's the ball in. Just to be a clash. Yeah, there was.
Yeah, it looks like he fell awkwardly with the Boambee defender. Looks like he got winded around the rib region, the lower right quadrant.
Did you get that, CT? The lower right quadrant. Do you know where that is?
Well, it's on the right-hand side.
I think so. I mean, as we get through this game, we'll get to a couple of the players. One of them is Sam Crampton. Sam Crampton, 17 years old.
Well, here's the ball through. This sits for Brady Parker. Well, we know he can strike them as hard as anyone in northern New South Wales football. And that was a gilt-edged chance that he wished he had have taken there.
Great opportunity for Boambee. You know what? That's a set move. As soon as the ball went forward to Luke France, he was going for the nod on, and Brady Parker read that perfectly, ran straight on. He was one-on-one with Ireland and probably should have put it away.
That's 2 chances for Brady Parker already in the opening 10 minutes, and Boambee have had the best opportunities. As Norbury looking again for that ball to Parker. He's been injured for much of the season, Mark Norbury. Back in the side here is Lewis. Has to bend his run and getting back and doing some wonderful defensive work with McIntosh and now Stitt.
Great challenge by Josh McIntosh in the box on Callan Lewis.
He's been coached by Shane Duncan, the Coffs coach, since he was 13. So obviously he's taught him plenty. A little collision over on the far side. We are going to see a corner for Charlestown. That grandstand on the far side, making a little bit of noise. It is decently full. And there's Dan Lehman. Isn't he a very strong young man?
Yeah, that's
like
sure.
looking into a mirror, Bart.
For you, that's what you look like. Aidan Gardner. Rain Ferguson got his head to it. He didn't know where it went. Boambee clear their lines.
I don't know what poster you've got hanging on your wall at home, Bart. Smudge, I mean. Talking about Sam Crampton before. He's 17 years old for Boambee, number 5. He's...
Well, just hang on a sec, CT, because Rain Ferguson was almost in there for a moment. Here's Brady Parker. Was the coach of Boambee a few years ago, and he headed up north. Last played for Magic in 2013 when he scored 11 goals that year.
Good transition by Boambee. Oh, well, look, France.
Nice nick back by France. He's looking up for the Bombers at the moment. Here's Norbury. Callan Lewis just had the speed and goal to get there first. Salini, they're going to have their work cut out for them this evening, Charleston. If Boambee can keep this intensity for 90 minutes, it's always an issue, the fitness levels between. Here's Brady Parker trying his luck again. He'll fire him off from wherever. Anywhere.
Look, I've seen this for a couple of years at training, and trust me, that is not unusual or unlike him. He will pull the trigger. Look, a lot may not find the target, but when they do, they're particularly hard to stop. And he knows his range, and that's within it, and that's what we've got to keep our eye out for.
And just on Boambee, the quick transition just from defence to attack, just in the previous phase, was very good. Nelly got in behind Charlestown.
Here's Ferguson in again. Callan Lewis's chest was a bit heavy, but Matt Tull arrives late, and Jake Stitt He looked like Spider-Man there.
Jake Stitt, the time that he's had at Lake Macquarie, I can tell you his strength is as a stop shotter, and we've just seen that there from
A
Stitt.
shot stopper.
Shot stopper. Is that
Bit of
what
a
we said?
spoonerism. No, you said
Well, he's a goalkeeper.
He is, but that's his strength, and we see that in this example. He just reflex and then enough to get it over the top of the bar, and that's the sort of saves they need. You can see the desperation.
Here it is in again, Ferguson rising. Can Boambee clear their lines? Here is Callan Lewis. Still not cleared for Boambee. It may fall for Ferguson there at the back post. He almost guided it home.
CT, I thought you were going to take credit for that save at the moment when you said the time it was at Lake Macquarie. So
I should say Scott Smith it was there. Scott Smith, the poacher himself. He was actually the leading scorer in the NPL the last year that Brady Parker played. Parker was the 4th highest goal scorer that year with 11. Scott Smith scored 20. So 11's a decent haul. I think last year Goodchild won with Kane Goodchild was the golden boot with 12. So here's my fall for Brady Parker again. Does he take on the strike? He couldn't quite bring the ball down.
And we talk about Brady Parker's left foot strike. He can also hit it on the right foot, can't he, CT?
Yeah, absolutely. Can he's a right-handed golfer and plays off a handicap of 4.
Oh, Jeepers. That's it, Christian Penny on the back of the head. That was one of the more interesting moments you've seen. He just totally was bamboozled by the ball over the top. It dipped right on top of him. Here is Scott Smith. Back heel was behind Callan Lewis. Now Penny dinks it forward. He got cleaned up by Tom Smart. Mark Carter is going to come back and award the free kick.
Just going back to Brady Parker, how does a handicap of 4 relate to his right foot?
His right foot, because he's left-footed and he plays right-handed, is what I'm saying in golf. So he's not really sure. He thinks he's a left-footer, because I've asked him before, are you naturally right-footed or left? He's not really sure, but definitely on his left is where he's developed that power. But he can hit them equally on the right.
Smudge, I was going to say, do you think Brady Parker could play left-handed and still beat CT in golf?
Yep.
Yeah. He could still beat me, I know that.
No arguments there.
This one played forward by Aidan Gardner. Still weaving his way across the ground is Callan Lewis. And then
Good desperate defence there from Boambee.
What has been good in the middle. McIntosh and Brewster at the back.
And that comment regarding golf was equally as irrelevant as the third attempt at Crampton, who was 17 years old. Big occasion for him. His nickname is Kleenex and the Hitman. Kleenex, according to his teammate, he cries a lot, but the ultimate club man.
Well, he's the first man at training and the last man to leave, setting up the nets before games. That is the mark of a very good young man.
Either that or you want to maintain your spot in first grade.
Well, he's only 17 years old, so I wonder what it says. Brady Parker, I thought there may have been a handball there. Danny Ireland just says, let's get it downtown.
He was well defended by Kev Davidson.
Well, it just was a little opening there. Just couldn't quite get across James Lowe. Here's Tom Smart. Towards the corner flag.
Nods, listen!
You know the other thing about this game at the moment, the pace of the game is nice and quick. Obviously,
Minus. Coming through there was Aidan Gardner. Couldn't get the purchase on the header.
in the local Newcastle NPL, most clubs train 3 nights a week. Coffs Harbour, they train twice a week. So fitness and the pace of the game might be in favour of Charlestown.
But they've started well, and that's what we're saying. We were saying the biggest test is going to come in the second half. Whether
Exactly.
they can maintain it.
Exactly.
There's Tom Smart, and Scott Smith is going to have to get on his bike to run this one down. He does well.
Great
Now into the
ball.
middle. Well, he's unmarked, Ryan Ferguson. But superbly defended. And then the strike over the bar.
You know, when you've got players in the side like McIntosh is at 22, Brandon White 19, Crampton that we mentioned 17. We've got players with youth, James Lowe 17. These players, Mitch Brewster 19. These sorts of guys, Smudge. Sometimes you're just a little bit unaware of what you're up against. You just know what you know, and you go and do it. And maybe the sense of youth doesn't scare you in this occasion.
Yeah, I tend to agree there, CT.
So it's Brady Parker standing over this free kick. And he launches it towards the box. That was travelling. And Christian Penny was there. And here's James Lowe. Can he play it through for Penny? And he slips and slides his way into possession. Christian Penny. I've been told if he scores, expect an exquisite celebration.
Okay.
And it will be just that. It'll be superb. Here's Norbury. Stepped away from his opposite number. Tries to drill it into the box. Now there's Brewster. Dinked up and over the top by Crampton. A little too heavy though.
Just going back on the phase before, I think it was James Lowe played it out to Penny. James Lowe, he was virtually in the centre of the goals, just outside the 18. You want to be having a strike on there. In these slippery conditions, the ball skids off. You've got every opportunity.
Boys had the opportunity to speak with Boambee coach Shane Duncan and also Brady Parker in Coffs Harbour during the week, giving us a bit of a rundown on the team. And you can sense some enthusiasm. They've brought good numbers with them on their travels, and they're really in for this. You can see it in this first part of the game, and the importance of holding Charlestown at bay, particularly in the first half an hour, is really key for them.
So we're ticking up towards 20 minutes and it's still 0-0. Boambee and Charlestown. And to be honest, both sides have had an even array of chances. It deserves to be level at this point.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that too, Bart.
Brady Parker with a few, I should say, for Boambee, and Callan Lewis and Reen Ferguson likewise, but it's been the desperation in defence from Boambee which has been so impressive. That header nodded wide. Was Dan Lehman getting up the back post.
I think also these when the ball goes out, when the ball's dead, it's a good opportunity for Boambee to have a bit of a rest, get their breath back, then set up again, CT.
Yeah, absolutely, and that keeping their shape is really key for them. Both sides playing a 4-4-2, and they don't want to be dragged out of shape by Charlestown.
Smith trying to spread possession over to Gardner. Callan Lewis lays it off. Here's Ferguson. Back to Scott Smith. Snitz did a great save in the follow-up. It's put wide.
Well played by Charlestown. Good, and again, good urgent pressure on the ball from Boambee. They're desperate in defence, which is working for them at the moment.
Yeah, one of the things is, you can tend to hang off just that extra metre or so we were mentioning before, and that's where you get punished, but they haven't done that.
Win it, let's go!
Great early saves from that man in goals. So Stitt, whose home ground when he was at Lakes was about 500 metres west of where we're standing, or where this field is. Header from Smith looking for the run of Matt Tull, which was central, and here's Brady Parker up and over the top again. Can he turn the defence around? He almost did it all himself again.
And against Charlestown's recognised the danger in Brady Parker. They had numbers around the ball. As soon as he got the ball, they had numbers around the ball to squeeze him.
Just about to say that, Smudge. There was three of them specifically, and they do. They recognise he's the danger. Tancheski spoke about that yesterday. Then they need to make sure that he's not taking shots when he feels like it.
Speaking of Tancheski, his comments in the Newcastle Herald today were interesting to say the least. I might come back to that after Ferguson whips one in. Stitt, he has a little fumble.
Oh.
A little bit of a mix-up between him and Brandon Wyatt, but in the end, all's well, it ends well. Just on Tancheski's comments, he didn't seem too worried whether they win or lose this match. He said, well, if we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. I thought that was an interesting comment.
Well,
should there be more ambition from him, considering they're fourth in the NPL and playing a North Coast side? No NPL side has have a loss to a North Coast side. It just came across as strange to me.
It just really depends on what your goals are for the season, and typically clubs will set them at the beginning of the year.
Here's Parker looking for Penny. On a grassy surface, that would have sat for the wide man. Just skid it on.
If you set your targets as making the top 4, which it would appear that Charlestown have done that, then you set your target at that. Anything other than that, if FA Cup is not it, you'll just play as it goes. And I'm sure once they go a little bit deeper in the competition, if they did, they may change their tune on that one. But so far, this is pretty clear what the intention is.
Just getting in there with Sam Crampton.
I tend to agree with CT. Depending on what your goals are at the start of the season, if I was back coaching in the league, FFA Cup would be one of my goals because it's recognised on the national stage, and it's a great opportunity for clubs to play against clubs around Australia.
Rain Ferguson weaves past a couple. It's low, and Callan Lewis's strike into the bar. Mentioned 3 already in the FFA Cup. He couldn't add to his account there, but he went almightily close within a coat of paint.
Christian, don't jump in those challenges. Just get there and hold him up, but it's just silly.
Here's Miners.
Just looking out here on the right fullback position for Mark Norbury. He's really limping out here on the right-hand side.
He is really struggling. We said he struggled with injury this year. Ferguson in again, off the post, and it falls at the back post for Aidan Gardner, who drills it home. And he scores his 3rd FFA Cup goal of the season. And finally, the dam wall bursts for Boambee. Charlestown have the advantage, and they are going to make a sub here, Boambee, with Mark Norbury in real discomfort.
Yeah, unfortunately the sub wasn't made prior to that passage of play, because you could see Norbury was really struggling to close down Rain Ferguson, wasn't he?
Really struggling.
And really gave him some space to actually deliver a beautiful cross. And what a great finish by Aidan Gardner in the back stick.
Well, Norbury's been out for a good part of this season, and may be a reoccurrence of pre-existing injury.
So
he's been brought into this side for his experience because of the amount of youth in the team.
And Nick O'Mullane is headed out there. And he's going to slot in straight into that right back role, which Norbury was in.
Yeah, the next 5 minutes is a key, isn't it, CT, for Boambee? They can't drop their heads. They just keep playing the way they've been playing. They've been getting opportunities to score, but they must stay in this game.
That is absolutely spot on, and particularly in defence.
There's Parker dinking one over the top. Tom Smart. Very good body shape, just to angle the ball away from Christian Penny. Miners. Too Smart. Smith. Now Miners dinking it for the run of Matt Tull.
Great run by Matt Tull from deep. I love those deep runs from midfield beyond the back four, but the problem with this pitch, it's just going to skid onto the goalkeeper, as we've seen there. Balls must be played into the feet. Even Brady Parker's made a few quick passes forward, and they've just skidded on.
That's right.
Just had his legs taken out from under him there. Here's Smith, just that pass overhit as well, as you were saying.
And again, yeah.
The importance of the ball on the deck, Smudge.
Well, we've seen a couple of the balls from Parker into Penny, and they just have gone a little bit too beyond him and too quick.
And he will track that one down. Turns away from Smart. I know Mullane unable to keep it inside the line.
You know what? I like the general talk and the enthusiasm from Boambee. You know, they're desperate. They want to win this game. I'm loving this.
Yeah, they sure do. And as you say, Smudge, this next 5-10 minutes is quite key for them, because they don't want to concede now. If they do, then it's going to be really second half is where things will unfold. But if they get back into the game and they can get a goal here, it really will give them a lot of confidence.
Or even staying just one goal behind at 0-1 keeps them in the game.
Absolutely, it does.
Watch.
Here's the corner. Nodded clear by Luke France. Now Miners. Here's Matt Tull. Luke France again rose tallest, but the header wasn't clear, and now Rain Ferguson forces a brilliant save from Stitt, who had the presence of mind then as he made the save to clear it with his boot, because otherwise it would have been a second for Charlestown, and he's won a goal kick out of all of that.
Well, one thing that I know, knowing Clint Gosling very well, he always tells his keepers to stay alive. Never, ever, you make a save, but you're always on. Teaches them to make the save, get up quickly, and in that case, Stitt, as you say, Bart, had the presence of mind to keep his goal clean.
And just on Charlestown, Scott Smith's turn on the Boambee defender was superb. Just quick turn and fire shot. But great finish.
Parker trying to nod it on again to Christian Penny. There may still be some danger here for Boambee. Getting back and cleaning up was Josh McIntosh. Got a boot in front of Gardner. So 28.5 gone in this one, and it's Charlestown with a 1-0 advantage via that man on screen, Aidan Gardner. Started the season at Valentine, now at Charlestown.
Just on the weather, boys. It's perfect for soccer right now. Rain has stopped. Little mist in the air. Absolutely beautiful.
So Miners looks across the ground. Scott Smith into the middle. Almost got caught under the boot of Prampton. Now Christian Penny sees Tom Smart, says, "I'll take you on." He did well, but his pass was straight to Daniel Miners. Matt Tull. Now Lehman. Kevin Davidson.
Just one little thing I've noticed, Boambee's back four, just getting a little bit deeper. They started the first 25 minutes or so, nice and high line, compacting the space. They just dropped off a little bit, giving Charlestown a little bit of space in the midfield.
I've got plenty of FFA Cup experience at a national level out there, Charlestown. We've got Kevin Davidson, who played for Lambton Jaffers in 2016 when they made the round of 32, and Daniel Miners and Aidan Gardner, who both had some experience off the bench for Edgeworth in their 2016 Cup run, where they beat Far North Queensland Heat, who have now been renamed Cairns FC, and then in that round of 16 match against Western Sydney Wanderers, Daniel McBreen scored for them in that 5-1 defeat. Ball given away there by Miners. It's Brady Parker. It's been at the centre of everything that's been created in the front third by Boambee, as you'd expect. Probably should have had a goal or two himself already in the opening half an hour. Brandon Wyatt trying the long ball. Now Gardner. Here's an opportunity, some space over on that far side for the Bombers, but the touch was too heavy. And possession won back by Charlestown. Miners into the middle, and scuff shot from Scott Smith.
Hey, just play the ball simply. Sam, just had to come across the back. Yep. Come on.
You know, one thing I'd like to see Boambee, they're playing like a 4-4-2 with Christian Penny, number 7, high wide on the right. He's tucked in at the moment. But what I'd like to see, someone like Luke France or Brady Parker, just keep one up front. One of them play as a false 9. Create that extra man in midfield. Get on the ball. Play a few 1-2s. And look to spread the ball.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Smudge had the opportunity to chat with the coach of Boambee Bombers, Shane Duncan, during the weekend. You know, that's exactly the plan. So to have a false 9 there, and by that meaning drop back in the midfield when you're in defence, and that does really make you 4-4-2, a 4-5-1 in defence.
Aidan Gardner again. He's been dominant down the right flank. Gets a little knock. Mark Carter is going to award the free kick. I thought it may have been a little soft.
Yeah, I thought it was a foul. But just on that CT, even playing a 4-5-1 in attack is also a benefit, because you've got the extra man in midfield, overload the midfield. You play your little triangles, get the ball forward.
Well, actually, no, there was no foul there, so it's a throw. I thought it was given as a foul, but just the throw for Charlestown. Brady Parker. Just in regards to how these two sides got here, so Boambee had to win 4 matches. Most recent of those against Bangalore. 5-2. His strike on goal just goes wide. The most important victory, though, came against Coffs City, who made it through from that Coffs Harbour region last year. They beat them 3-1 in round 3. for Charlestown. Well, they had a relatively easy first up match against Hamilton Azuri. They knocked them for 10-0, and then they beat Lake Macquarie 3-1 in round 5. Fellow NPL opposition. If you have just joined us, Aiden Gardner with the only goal so far for Charlestown. Boambee, they've been plucky, they've been good. And based on what we've seen, expect them to score one once at least this evening. There's the nod on from low towards Parker. And Luke France scored 4 goals in the FFA Cup this year. Brady Parker scored a hat-trick in that last FFA Cup win for Boambee. This one threaded through. Can Scott Smith get in front of his marker? He can, and he can place it in the top corner. He just got in front of Sam Crampton and just tidily put it in the top right corner, Scott Smith. He's been prolific in the NPL this year, 7 goals. He scored 3 in the FFA Cup, so my maths is correct. That's 11 for the season for Scott Smith.
That was a terrific ball into Smith, and the composure that he had on the ball just to pick where Stitt was and where his big open target was. He had pretty much about 2 metres square in the top right-hand corner to hit cleanly, and he did that. And that's the mark, the true striker that's able to finish in the calmness like that.
But not only his patience and calmness, but his body position on the Boambee defender.
As Luke France just got caught between his legs. It almost deflected wide. They had a 2-on-1 out to the right. The ball never got there, though. Gardner. Marching through the midfield. Smith and Christian Penny knocks down Tom Smart.
Smart play by Smart.
Intelligent
play by Smart. The way he just moved his body just in front of Penny, and Penny had nowhere to go but to obviously trip Smart.
And he's a little spot of bother, Tommy Smart.
There's been a few injuries today, hasn't there, Bart?
There's been a few, and also the new surface, having not played on it. Here he is, Daniel Minus, as he go for goal. It was low. Well cleared by Boambee, but it's all hands to the pump for the moment. This one dinked in towards the back post. Penny. There's his distribution. It's good, and it's up the line. Well kept in by James Lowe. Gee, there was some skill against the touchline here in a tight situation. And Charlestown, strength in numbers. They win the ball back. Callan Lewis dropping into the midfield. Smith.
Smith does that perfect. He's playing as a number 9, nice and high. He drops into the pockets as a false 9, creates that extra man in midfield, which they're able to play through, get the ball wide.
And both he and Callan Lewis are doing that really well, aren't they? Just interchanging. And that 4-4-2 formation. This one threaded through. It's just the opportunity for Boambee. Christian Penny couldn't bring it under his control, and then Smart nutmegged him with the pass, and Davidson got a bump from James Lowe.
Hey, CT, it's been a good duel between Penny and Smart on this right-hand side.
Yeah, it has. I mean, Penny, you have a look at him, and he's a very strong-looking player, 25 years old. His strengths, you know, he's a coach. Sometimes he can be a little bit erratic, but it works in his favour because he's a little bit unpredictable. And you know, he can hit with both feet, so he's probably a little bit hard to pick a natural play because he's sort of used that word erratic.
Christian Penny just kept it inside the line, but as he slid the boot through, it was just a little heavy. Well, if you want to see what Brady Parker can do, head to the Facebook stream of this match. That's on NPL Northern New South Wales Facebook page. And Andrew Bozanowski from Broadmeadow Magic has actually put a video up of when he scored for Broadmeadow Magic back in 2013. It was a hat-trick for Broadmeadow Magic. Scored 11 goals that year. So check that out if you want to see what Brady Parker can do.
from memory, Bart. I think that was against Lake Macquarie. From memory.
Tempted to be cut out there by the sub Owen Lane, but could only nod it over the sideline. So you were coaching Lakes then, CT?
Yeah, if it's a video I'm thinking about.
Is there a video of your reactions to the goals?
I hope not, because it's probably
banging your head into the dugout. And
well, we spoke about one of the players, 17-year-olds.
Oh, here's Rain Ferguson. Oh, gee, didn't miss by much. Gee, just cannot find the back of the net at the moment. Rain Ferguson, 9 games without a goal in the NPL, and just the 3 for the entire season. 1 in the NPL, 2 in the Cup against Hamilton Azuri.
That was a great opportunity for Rain Ferguson to actually bury the game. But just keeps Boambee in the game at 2-0. Very important, Boambee do not concede before half-time.
Matt Tull, the thread smart in between, I should say Smith in between the lines. Penny. C10, back to your little story about you banging your head into the dugout when Brady Parker scored a hat-trick.
Well, if it was that game, he absolutely cleaned us up. We spoke about Crampton having a nickname of Kleenex. That would have definitely been me that night.
No doubt about that. Callan Lewis. Now Daniel Minus. Matt Tull, he's been run off the ball, and then Brady Parker, that's what he does. He scored from halfway. I was talking to Gary Rowe earlier this morning, and he said he remembers a goal Brady Parker launched in from halfway.
Well, he's seen Danny Olin off his line, the goalkeeper, Charlestown goalkeeper. He was out there in yard box.
And when he hits him, it's a very low trajectory, isn't it? Just all power.
It's all timing as well.
And Owen Lane couldn't find Penny. So 5 minutes to go before half-time. Scott Smith and Aidan Gardner with the goals for Charlestown. They're in front by 2-0. So the closest a side from the NPL has come to being beaten by a side from the North Coast was actually last year when Maitland were taken to extra time by Byron Bay. They won 3-2. Luke France, geez, a tall man. Now Brady Parker just couldn't quite bring it under his command.
You can tell that's a game plan. Ball forward to Franz on the head, not on, runners off him. No, it's nearly worked twice, yeah, it's nearly worked twice.
In Boambee, they have reached round 7 of the FFA Cup before, back in 2014. They were beaten by Broadmeadow Magic that year, 5-1. Previously, the last 2 years have been knocked out in the first round of the competition. So good to see them back at this stage, at this level. They lost the grand final last year in the Men's Premier League in North Coast football, 4-3 to Coff City. The Lions, who played in the FFA Cup last year, made it to round 7.
Are they arch rivals, Coffs and Boambee, CT?
I couldn't tell you that, Smudge, to be honest.
I would say so. They've been both top sides in recent years.
You'd have to think there would be some rivalry there, given the
history,
proximity.
yeah.
Boambee Bombers, sponsored by the Sawtell Pub.
Well, it's quite interesting because last year they lost to Sawtell in round 1, 3-1. Speaking of sponsors, we'd like to thank Instant Access Scaffolding for all their support for getting that camera up nice and high for this match with the scissor lift, and it's been awesome to have views from nice high perched above the cage here at Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. So thank you to Instant Access Scaffolding. Head to them for all your scaffolding needs. Smudge, you go there.
Yeah, I highly recommend Instant Access, UCT.
Absolutely. Anytime I need an extension, I'll give them a call.
Which is fairly regularly. Here's Saloni. CT, we didn't tell a joke. Gee, here's Tom Smart. You get there first, across the face, and prodded home by Callan Lewis. Another one for the young Charlestown striker. Make it 4 for him in the FFA Cup, and that may have sealed the victory for the Blues.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for Boambee to come back, but just go through this goal. We get the replay. It was a beautiful ball across. Great ball by Miners. To Smart, beautiful ball across the face of the goal, and well finished by Callan Lewis. Gets his second for the day. You know what? We spoke earlier, the fatigue for Boambee just crept in that last 5 or 6 minutes and weren't closing down at the ball as much as they were in the opening 25, 30 minutes. But, they must maintain, concentrate, get their structures back in place.
And here come Charlestown again, but Smudge, we spoke about that after that first goal, that next 10 minutes, how crucial it is for them to maintain it and how close they'd been and the level and speed that they'd been running at. Now that's kind of just dropped off that little bit and Charlestown have been able to punish.
Here's James Lowe, been impressive in the midfield, which has been dominated by Charlestown. Christian Penny maybe in on goal here. Danny Ireland swiftly out to bring it under his control.
And due to this surface, the pace of every game today is a lot quicker than what most teams are used to. And especially Boambee, playing against a team who trains 3 nights a week, probably wouldn't be used to this pace for the whole 45 minutes per half.
That is quite possible, and they're not going to be coming up against sides like Charlestown in their local league week in, week out, whereas Charlestown, that's what they face every single week.
They have had a rough trot of late, Charlestown. They've won just 1 of their last 4 in the NPL. If you include FFA Cup fixtures in all of that, they've won 3 of their last 6. So it's been difficult up against a side who hasn't lost in 2018 in Boambee. Minus, bit of a pinball in the corner. So we tick towards stoppage time in this first half. The final match of round 6 of the FFA Cup here at Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. Broadmeadow Magic, Lambton Jaffers and Hamilton Olympic already through. 3 of the big clubs from northern New South Wales, and Charlestown well on their way to joining them in the battle to decide the final 2 in northern New South Wales. To be honest, I can't say who's going to get through at this point. If Charlestown win this, 4 huge clubs to play off on Tuesday and Wednesday night this week, whether that be here or whether it be at home grounds of clubs, weather dependent. Callan Lewis ducking into the middle of the park again, playing it to Scott Smith. Can he use this pace of the youngster Hayden Gardner, who's got acres of real estate on the right flank. Here's Ryan Ferguson.
Well done, Christian.
Still just couldn't get ball into the middle. Wouldn't he love to grab a goal just for his confidence? If anything, Ryan Ferguson. Dying embers of this first half. And it's almost an own goal there from Sam Crampton off the back of his head, maybe. Shoulder blade. Jake Stitt doing well to keep it out.
It looked a massive glove coming out from Stitt.
And that will do us for the opening half here at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facilities. We see that save from Jake Stitt, and it's been, well, it was a good start from Boambee. Held Charlestown at bay early on, but it was all the Blues in the second half of that first half. And we go to the sheds. Boambee 0, Charlestown City Blues 3. Chris Turner. Oh, actually, Dave Tancheski's going to interview Chris Turner. Here we go.
Yeah, we're here with Chris Turner. Chris, what do you think of the match?
I think no. Reverse role. Look, Tanch, seriously, I'll let you get in with your side. I'll just go straight to the point. You and I had a conversation yesterday. You said the FFA Cup wasn't your priority. Yep. Sure, you'll win if you win. Yep. And there were some comments in the paper today. Yep. 3-0 up at half-time. Does it bore you to go any further, or do you still hold the same for next game that you go into?
Oh,
Oh no, look, don't get me wrong. Like, we still want to do well in the FA Cup, but our priority is the league. As I said, it's about rebuilding the league for the next couple of years. If we can do well in the cup, then it's a bonus for us. But we're not going to risk everyone. Like Lubo, for example, he was happy to play today, but I didn't want to risk him on the surface. You've seen another injury today with McBreen and Job last time, so we didn't want to risk Lubo on the surface. So if it was a comp game, we probably would have risked Lubo, but not in the cup. So.
Yep, and we've had half a game of football. You're 3-0 up. Your thoughts on Boambee Bombers, and what's your instruction at half time?
Oh, look, I think the boys have done well. We probably haven't scored as many chances. That's probably the only thing I'm a bit upset with at half time. We probably could have been another couple of goals up, and we haven't been clinical enough in front of goals. But we've made enough chances. Defensively, we look a little bit shaky, to be honest. We've sort of haven't been as strong as we normally are. But yeah, just go on the same thing. Second half, we'll probably make a couple of changes and give a few of the younger boys a run, and try and just close it off.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for your time, and good luck in the second half.
Thanks, mate. Cheers, boys.
Thanks, OT, for that. All right, Smudge, let's just sum up that opening half. Boambee, I thought they started really well. Brady Parker had a few early opportunities. One of those goes in. The match has changed almightily, but with Charlestown up 3-0, it's all about damage control in this second half, isn't it?
Yeah, Boambee should have their heads held up high because they started off really well. Had a few good chances, like you said. Brady Parker looked dangerous and threatening all the time, but they didn't take them. Charlestown get a few opportunities, they take them. For me, Charlestown are deserved 3-0 leaders at half time. They're going to be hard to peg back in the second half, but for Boambee, it's all about the fight. Try and get a goal back. Just go one goal at a time, and obviously just try and keep in the game.
A reminder, the draw for round 7 straight at the conclusion of this match. Looking forward to seeing what happens there. So we'll be back in 10. Charlestown with a 3-0 lead against Boambee. Welcome back to the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility, the second half of this match between the Boambee Bombers and Charlestown City Blues. Just about to get underway, so Boambee, the white shirts, brown pants, and Charlestown in the light blue with the navy shorts. And it is Boambee to get us underway in the second half. They started the first half very sprightly, but in the end Charlestown got their way in front via a goal to Aidan Gardner, and then Scott Smith and Callan Lewis put the stamp of approval on a pretty solid 45 minutes CT from the Blues.
The first 45 it certainly was, and it's a 3-0 goal difference at the moment, and you'd be thinking that they could well go on with this. Most people would think comfortably, but you know what? Boambee get a goal in here and get some momentum in play, and you never know, it could get them back into the match. But you know, most people would be thinking that that Charlestown are going to go on with this. The biggest concern that they may have is they just slip into some complacency and they do get that goal and that momentum shift happens, and that's where they may have their only concern. But you would expect at this stage that Boambee are not going to go away, and they'll make it tough for Charlestown.
It's Daniel Miners. Threading it wide. Just cutting infield with Smith, and now Miners having a strong challenge between Lowe and Miners. I repeat, CT, I was saying in the first half, James Lowe, very good for Boambee in the centre of the park. Youngster, prepared to take it up to these Charlestown NPL players. Just 17 years of age.
Well, that's the thing about players like Lowe and other youngsters we were talking about before. You haven't played really against players like this week in, week out, and probably got no fear. They're just ready to go out there and play and win.
Well, here it falls for Lockie Moore. He's already scored a couple of goals for Boambee, and he couldn't find the target there. Great opportunity for the Bombers early on in their second half. And gee, I've missed some good opportunities. Brady Parker with a few in the first half. They could have just turned the momentum.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. Something that goes in there, and then it's a very interesting proposition, because Charlestown have to think, all right, we've actually got to play some football. This game's not over. It's only half time. And there's a lot of football left in this one.
So Danny Olin, I'm sure he's got plenty of thermals on. It would be a cold night to be a goalkeeper, especially with the rain falling early on. Wet jerseys. Just standing there for a majority of that, the back end of that first half. There is Brady Parker, the man who holds all the aces for Boambee. And a long throw is straight to Danny Ireland. Is that the right option, CT?
Hold him up, Josh, hold him up.
Look, in hindsight, no.
Well done, Joshy, well done, buddy.
Smudge, we spoke about how the pace of the game in the first 15-20 minutes was really, really quick. And then it went on with it, and then some goals came in, and we now know that things aren't as quick and as tight as they were defensively as in that first 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Boambee were playing a nice high line that first 20 minutes, really compacting the space. Then I think they started to get a little bit tired towards the back end of that first half, started to drop off, gave a lot of space for Charlestown in the midfield, and they'll be able to play their triangles, play the width, get in beyond, and obviously the Blues ran out the first half really quite well and deserved 3-0 leaders. So I'll be interested to see how Boambee cope with the pace of the game in the second half. Like I said, local Newcastle NPL sides, most of them train 3 nights a week, so Coffs Harbour guys probably train twice a week, CT?
Yeah, that's typical of what it is. And, you know, the other thing is, too, with this particular pitch, because it's so quick, it's not a pitch that you can play a lot of possession on when marking's so tight. So as the game goes on, you would expect that Charlestown are going to look to gain some more possession than what they've had. What they've relied on is quick feet, good little passes in and around the box, and getting shots on goal in that respect.
Aidan Gardner just nips in and steals back possession for the Blues. And now Matt Tull almost played in on goal, but just hit a little bit on the surface and skidded on.
Yeah, it was well played by Charlestown, but like we said before at the start of the game, balls need to be in the feet. They can't be just in front of a player, otherwise they'll just skid on.
Oh, there's a nutmeg. Straight through the legs of Aidan Gardner from Lockie Moy.
And also for Charlestown, I think the key for them is hold possession. They don't need to score. They just need to run this game out, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can see that I guess the pace of the game's changed, and particularly from Charlestown, they probably want to get into more of a controlling mechanism rather than into a dogfight and a battle, because Boambee are more likely to want to scrap it out if it gets to that opportunity and pinch some goals that way.
It's round 6 of the FFA Cup in northern New South Wales. If you're joining us this evening, Boambee Bombers from the North Coast up against the Charlestown City Blues, an NPL side locally here in Newcastle. Charlestown looking to make it through to round 7 of the Cup for the very first time. Boambee have already been to round 7 back in 2014. Down 3-0 here. They've got a lot of work to do. The draw for round 7 will take place at 8 o'clock tonight. That'll be on the Northern New South Wales Football Facebook page, so that'll be live streamed. Make sure you check that out. Already in the draw, Hamilton Olympic, they beat Edgeworth in the first match of the day. A huge upset there. And then Broadmeadow Magic accounted for Adamstown, and Lambton thumped Port United. Miners nods it back, Salini. Here's Brewster in the midfield. Here's James Lowe. This is better from Boambee. France just holding it up. Parker. Here's Moy. Back to Brady Parker. Back heel from Moy towards Parker. Good combination between those two. Here's France. Dinking it over the top. Danny Euler is out. Got a little bump from Christian Penny. That's probably the best passage of play in possession from Boambee so far. They have had chances in the match, but in terms of keeping on to possession, it's pretty good build up from them. You see Luke France bundled over Tom Smart on that far side.
Yeah, it looks like he gave him a big bear hug, and Tom Smart's in a little bit of trouble here.
He's crumpled, and the corner flag is crumpled as well. We'll see if we can have a look at it. Luke France.
Now, this isn't a corner.
It isn't a corner, no. Well, you can't see the flag.
Hey, let's go.
Here we go. How would you like this? Luke France just fell on top of him.
I've never actually seen a free kick in the corner, inside where you take a corner, on the attacking side.
It was the first time for everything, Smudge.
Sam, well done.
This one knocked up the line. And while we have the opportunity, next week in the NPL Northern New South Wales, a big round of matches. And we're expecting that we'll be travelling to Darling Street for the match between Hamilton and Adamstown, I should say. I'll get that confirmed. Adamstown knocked out of the Cup today, and Hamilton Olympic in pretty decent form, you'd say, after knocking over the Cup Kings in Edgeworth.
Yeah, they were good for the win today, Hamilton.
But they've got to do it again in round 7. That's the thing they've got to remember. This match is important, but it's the next one that is the most important. Daniel Miners, and just came off the leg, Brendan Wyatt. Yeah, next week in the NPL Northern New South Wales, Lake Macquarie up against Western. The Jets played Valentine. Lambton Jaffers against Magic. Hamilton and Adamstown, and Maitland and Charlestown. So, big 5 matches of action next week. Can this be tracked down by Ferguson? Can. Jakes did a little juggle. But a good start to the second half from Boambee, keeping pace with Charlestown. To be honest, Charlestown haven't had a golden chance to make it 4-0 in the second half. Brady Parker got overpowered there by Lehman. There is Lehman. It's thumped out by O'Mullane, and here's Luke France. Can he bring it under his control? Luke France on the volley. He brought it down expertly well and just couldn't find the target. You just wonder if Boambee had made their chances count.
Especially in that early in the first half. So the pressure he puts on Salini here, just bumps him a little bit, causes a bit of a turnover. What a strike. Just pushes it past the right-hand post.
He scored a couple against Bangalore in their round 5 win in the FFA Cup, 5-2, and scored a couple also against Kempsey in round 4, Luke France.
He's a big lad, Luke France. He really gets about for a big fella.
Great close control as well. Really good close control. Here's another opportunity going down the box. Does Mark Carter point to the spot? He doesn't. Brady Parker fires away. It's all happening here for a moment. McIntosh. Frustration from the Charlestown bench.
Or frustration from Boambee bench. I think that should have been a penalty, to be honest.
I'd agree with you there, Smudge.
Certainly looked that way, didn't it? And
we'll see if we can go back and have a look at it when we get a stoppage in play. And now the whistle does go to Charlestown.
so definitely some frustration from Boambee there, and rightly so, because chances are that was a penalty, and also, you know, the opportunities they had.
Well, that's definitely a penalty. The arm was raised from Tom Smart. Push away.
The follow-up strike by Brady Parker, that was on target. Like, it just sort of deflected off one of his own players. He hit that quite well.
He absolutely hammered that, Smudge, make no mistake. He really drilled it, and it was on target. It just it went into traffic. That was the only issue.
So Zach Lloyd onto the park, former Jets youth man. Would have played a little bit on this surface before he replaces Aidan Gardner.
Just a bit on that. It was shoulder to shoulder, however. Smart's shoulder was slightly behind and raised his elbow. So, me personally, I thought that was a penalty.
That's why I thought shoulder to shoulder fine, but it was the raised elbow that did it for me.
But the shoulder, Smart's shoulder was slightly behind, so slightly of a push.
So Daniel Miners from the free kick. It's low and it's angled in, and it's been flicked on by Scott Smith to make it 4-0. He grabs his second of the evening, and that is a real hammer blow for Boambee. Should have had a penalty at the other end, and they concede after giving away a free kick.
Well,
in a minute, yeah, sorry.
These are the ones where you're thinking that it should be 3-1 and now you're 4-0. And in the end, that one was probably a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I thought the defence there, the marking on Scott Smith wasn't there, was it? So, and an easy tap in for Scott Smith.
He'll eat that up for breakfast, Scott Smith.
And like you said, football's a game of inches, isn't it?
And then
Boambee had a chance to have a penalty. Within 2 minutes, Charlestown scored at the other end.
And Luke France as well. What about that chance? So a couple of really good opportunities, and then really Charlestown's first moment in this second half, and they put it away. That's what they do. Here's Christian Penny after that one.
And boys, they're the opportunities that shift the game, aren't they? When they go in, and then that momentum goes your way for Boambee, and then all of a sudden it's game back on. But now at 4-0, their team are probably feeling like this one's going to be very tough. But they'll keep going right to the end. There's no doubt about that.
There's Lehman. Coming in there was diving challenge from McIntosh. He did well. Tracking back. Josh McIntosh. Well, he's pulled up really lame here, Josh McIntosh, against this near touchline. See if he's all right. Brady Parker plays it back to McIntosh.
He went in for a solid challenge just about a moment before, and it was quite an awkward challenge, so it looks like he sort of hurt himself. I think it was on Denny Lehman.
Parker now to Moy. France. Great touch into play between Moy and France. And he thread the knee. Falls for France, who blazes it over. Another good opportunity for Boambee.
Good interchange, good triangles there, good 1-2s, and France just getting under the ball.
And to be honest, based on chances, 4-0's not a fair reflection of this match.
McIntosh looks like he's in trouble. He's been coached by Shane Duncan since he was 13 years old, and so he knows him well. He knows he's not well, and he'll probably get him off the pitch pretty quickly.
Here's McIntosh. He seems to have recovered, CT.
I'm not
no,
confident.
no, he hasn't. Sorry about that. I'm sorry to Josh as well for laughing, but it was almost immediately as I said he'd recovered, he looked to be in all sorts again. Luke France, can he get up above Ireland? No, not with those long outstretched arms.
Just on Daniel Ireland, it's great to see him back playing. He had virtually the full season off last year. He won goalkeeper of the year prior, or the year before, and yeah, it's great to see him back having a full season.
And you can see the mist is just descending. Luke France gets a clip here. And Kevin Davidson. So Brady Parker will be lining this one up, you'd expect. What do you think? Can he go off his right boot here and try and bend it in? Or
No, I don't think he would. I think, this is going to be on his least favourite foot. You need a right footer for this angle.
I'm very confident Parker will take this, and I won't be surprised in these conditions if he launches one at goals, and if not, he may take a bit of frustration out and just wonder if they get out of the way.
Like launch it straight at the wall.
oh, gee,
I
you
think
wouldn't
he'd
want to
go
be in that wall.
beyond it.
And it's cold as well. You get one smack into the leg, the body. So here is Brady Parker. He launches it in Danny Island. Well, he just plucked it out of the air, didn't he? Like he was shelling peas.
He's a quality keeper, Ireland, isn't he? He just makes that look so simple.
Oh, sure is.
He missed a majority of last season at Hamilton Olympic with that illness. As you said, Smudge, great to see him back. So we're into the final half an hour. If you have just joined us, 4-0 is not fair on Boambee. They've been a lot better than that. In the end, it's their ability to take chances which has hurt them this evening. So it's going to be Masaya Sakamoto, the hero of that round 4 match against Lambton where they won it in the last minute, Charlestown. It's been his only goal of the season, none in the FFA Cup. And maybe an attacking move here. Kevin Davidson playing in the back line, so Sakamoto's an attacking player. So maybe they could be moving to 3 at the back here. Is that an option for Charlestown?
I don't think they'll change much, to be honest. I'll have a look at their line.
So if they
Their
drop
formation
anyone
at the
back from the
moment.
midfield, but there's could be a chance here immediately for Sakamoto. Not going to fall for him. Luke France, probably been Boambee's best in this second half. Holding the ball up well. Sees the run of Brady Parker. It won't fall for him. And McIntosh has gone to ground. Don't know how he stayed out there, CT. He's been waddling around like a lame duck, really, the
Yeah, he
last
really
5
has.
minutes.
Well, Shane Duncan knows him probably better than anyone, and that's his call to make. He'll do that based on what he's got on the bench and what he believes McIntosh has got. So he's still moving and he's still playing. So
Yeah, so it's nothing structural, and he probably just got a knock with sort of maybe a little cork in there, but yeah, nothing structural's the issue because he's putting weight through his legs and just a little bit of a hobble there.
So brought under the control of Brandon Wyatt, who doesn't really communicate out there from what we've heard. CT, Brandon Wyatt, and I was thinking maybe he has some powers of telepathy with his teammates. Here's Moy, lays it off for France, who hits it. It was a solid strike, but again, not the accuracy he would have desired.
well, according to his teammates, they're not sure if they've actually heard him speak before. Maybe someone somewhere, they're not sure.
Who's that?
Brandon Wyatt, Smudge.
Yeah, he's playing centre fullback. He's 19 years old, Smudge, and
Here's France.
Great ball.
Playing it wide to Christian Penny, the man who has 3 Red Bulls before every game. And he slides down. Maybe given a little nudge there.
What size Red Bulls before each game?
Well, I wasn't given that specific
'Cause
information.
that's a
Smudge.
lot of caffeine before each game.
well, it's interesting. We've got one of them sponsored by Kleenex, then we've got France sponsored by Kentucky Fried Chicken, and we've got the Red Bull.
You get plenty of sponsors. Speaking of sponsors again, nice segue. Instant Access Scaffolding. Make sure you head to them for all your scaffolding needs, scissor lifts, whatever. They've been superb for us today, keeping us, giving us a very nice view of this Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. Instant access scaffolding. Make
But
sure you
I
do it.
highly recommend instant access as well.
And if Smudge highly recommends it, you should go and use their services. So thanks to Instant Access, as CT has a little chuckle. Ireland. Now Penny brings it down. Luke France trying to nod it on. But as we said, yes, instant access scaffolding. Really great to have them on board this year, and they've helped us out a lot to be able to get this coverage to you wherever you are watching around the country or the world. Here's Lachlan Moy. Now Brewster. Neat back heel.
Well played.
Moy again. Lines it up. Brady Parker. Can he get on the score sheet? He just tried to dink it into France. This time he hits it. Off the back of Scott Smith that looked in there. Here's Parker. Now Miners. Here's a chance for Charlestown to break quickly.
Lockie, come back, come back.
Wayne Ferguson. Callum Lewis. Plays it back to Matt Tull. Here is Scott Smith. Already a double this evening. Sakamoto just got out muscled. And the foul goes against him. Was it fair or a foul by Sam Crampton? Best club man at Boambee.
Look, plenty of opposition from the Boambee bench, but it's fair enough. And from what looked like from here.
Gave him a fair working over. So Boambee are going to make their second change. Jack Mitchell just getting kitted up, and it will be Josh McIntosh who makes way. Succumbed to that injury. So Matt Tull, will he go for goal here? Just the one goal this season. That came against Adamstown back in round 8 in their 3-2 defeat.
Well, in these conditions, this is in range, just whether Tull fancies himself to do that. I'm going to guess, Bart, that he's going to go towards the back stick and probably the corner of the 6-yard box.
The wall protecting the important regions. Here's Tull. Dinking it in, they head it back across the face. It's cleared away only as far as Callan Lewis. Looking to get on the score sheet for a second time tonight. Opts to go back. Consolidate the situation. There's Lehman. Up the line towards Ferguson. Let's just chat about Reen Ferguson for a minute. As we said, he hasn't scored in 9 NPL matches. As a striker, as a winger, how can you best deal with that and just turn things around? Because tonight he just seems to be a little out of sorts in front of goal as well. He's had a couple of chances, maybe just lacking confidence.
Yeah, but he's had a good shift. He's been busy on the ball, been busy setting up play.
And here is maybe Reen Ferguson's chance. It falls for Smart at the back post. The ricochet. Tull, I should say, Callan Lewis.
Yeah, back on Ferguson. So last year he played a lot of striker. All they're playing like a 4-3-3. He's playing high on the left-hand side, so he's able to attack the ball, get more opportunities. Where this year they're playing a 4-4-2. He's sort of playing a bit more of a deeper role on that left-hand side of midfield. Probably not getting as many opportunities as what he usually gets. However, yeah, he's been a bit unfortunate with some of the opportunities he's got. He's just, yeah, it all comes down to confidence really, and a bit of momentum as well with scoring.
That's what we saw last year. He was just full of confidence, scoring goals at will, really, for Charlestown. They needed him to because they did lack a front man. Also, what about having someone as prolific as Scott Smith? Do you sort of feel, oh, it's all right if I take a back seat? If you're the man, the go-to man, all of a sudden you take a lot more responsibility. Here he is, Reen Ferguson plays it back. Scott Smith slots it. And there's a hat-trick for Charlestown's highest ever goal scorer in their history. And Reen Ferguson, that was expertly set up.
Hey, come on, guys. Pick your heads up. Let's go.
Great finish by Scott Smith, but just going back on Ferguson, that's what I'm saying. He's had a great shift today, and he's been setting up play. He's playing a different role than last year and in previous years. With your Smith and Goodchild combination, just looking at the goal here, Ferguson,
It was
size
just
it up.
really well summed up, wasn't it?
Yep.
Saw the opportunity.
Doesn't panic. Nice little ball to Smith. Tucks it in that bottom right-hand corner. Great finish. Well played by Ferguson. But just on Ferguson, he's playing with Scott Smith and Goodchild, and they're renowned in the local NPL, in Newcastle NPL, as the dual best combination strikers over the past 10 or so years. They've at least been leading goal scorer or second, haven't they, CT, in the last, I don't know how many years. And so the way they play is differently. They tend to get it up forward, so he's probably playing a more deeper role.
And that's what I'm saying. You know, last year in that kind of position, if Reen Ferguson doesn't have Scott Smith there, he might take on the strike and score.
Exactly.
But because he's got Scott Smith in the side, he goes, well, look who I've got. I've got Scott Smith, one of the best strikers in the history of the top league in Newcastle. Charlestown's best ever, and why not use him?
And I bet you, if you put a monitor on him and track him, I bet you his defensive duties will outweigh his offensive duties this year compared to last year by far, just due to the different style of play and the way Tange is using him this year rather than how he was used last year.
So 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes to come now in round 6, the final round 6 fixture in the FFA Cup, the Northern New South Wales division. 4 sides still will be left after this one. It will be Charlestown to join Lambton, Broadmeadow Magic and Hamilton Olympic as the final 4 sides. They are going to be 2 heavyweight clashes on Tuesday and Wednesday this week.
How are the games determined, Bart? On the Tuesday or the Wednesday? Do the team who gets drawn out first, which is going to be the home team, do they get a choice of Tuesday or Wednesday? Or
Interesting.
Yeah, just a question.
Because obviously Lambton, if Lambton play Charlestown, you would expect that match would be played on Wednesday because these 2 sides have played the later matches. But wouldn't you love Broadmeadow up against Hamilton? How good would that be, boys? Lick your lips at the thought of that. That one will be played at Darling Street if the pitch is fit enough, because Broadmeadow have actually put in some ryegrass, so they cannot play at home.
Oh, okay. So no matter what, Broadmeadow will be playing away?
No matter what, Broadmeadow Magic will play away. I've got that on good authority.
All right, we'll see how good your mail is, Bart.
Well, when I'm talking to someone involved in the manicuring of the Magic Park pitch, I think that's pretty good. Just say that. Have you got any gossip, Smudge, that you're willing to tell anyone from local football?
No, not really.
This one dinked into the middle. Here
Great
is a
ball.
chance for France. Well, they just can't take a trick. No, they can't. France into the post, and then Penny, who brings out the backflip when he scores, couldn't find the target either.
Well done, let's go.
Beautiful header by France. Look, great ball in. And look at this.
Go, guys, we know you got goals.
Oh, he just...
And here's Penny with the follow-up. Great opportunity.
He deserves one, doesn't he, France?
Well, I think so. And the fact that he actually was very conscious and guided the ball to where he wanted it to go, it just was so close. And you know what, for Boambee, you just feel for them. A goal, you know, from what they've had and the chances would be fair.
It would be more than fair. They deserve more than a goal, to be honest. Here's Lowe. Now Brewster. Speaking of James Lowe, apparently he has a couple of sisters, tries to find them dates with fellow teammates.
Okay. How'd you get that sauce, mate?
I've got some sources up at North Coast Football.
Okay.
Shoulder to shoulder. Well won by Brady Parker. And now he fires off into the back of Cameron Salini.
Tell you what, he's not afraid to have a shot, is he, Brady Parker? As soon as he gets sight on that goal, he's having a crack. Just on round 7, but is it a Tuesday and a Wednesday, or can they both play on a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night?
No, it will be Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, okay.
We'll fill you in whether they will be on Bar TV or not. Hopefully we can get there. Here's Parker trying to rise. Falls for Crampton. Now back for Brewster. Threads the needle wide. And the free kick goes Charlestown's way. The Boambee fans on the far side not impressed, especially after they weren't given a penalty when it was 3-0. They deserved a penalty.
The other thing for Boambee, they had some really good chances in the first opening 10 minutes, which they could have went to the lead.
Definitely Brady Parker with a couple.
Especially the one-on-one with Ireland.
Ifs, buts and maybes, and just haven't finished them in the end. 15 minutes to go. Scott Smith with 3, Callan Lewis with 1. And Aidan Gardner with a solitary goal as well for Charlestown. Boambee yet to trouble the scorers.
Looked like a foul on France there.
Matt Tull looks up and sees the run of Reen Ferguson. Fairly thick fog towards that southern end, and Charlestown will make another change. And Scott Smith scored a hat-trick this evening. He's going to make way. Had a very good shift this evening, Scott Smith. Heading out there for Charlestown will be Jared Purcell. 2 FFA Cup goals for him this year against Hamilton Azuri in that 10-0 win in round 4. France with the nod on.
That one certainly upset the Boambee Bay faithful over there in that grandstand, Bart. They probably feeling a touch frustrated at this point in the game.
Yeah, definitely. 13 minutes to go. Smudge, you've done it again. You're bringing in special guests all day. CT, I'll let you take
we're here
the honours.
with Scott Smith. Smithy, good 3 goals for you tonight, and a solid performance. I know that Tanch said that it hasn't been a priority, the FFA Cup. What do you think? What's your feeling on that, and the feeling of the team in general?
Mate, I think every game's you've got to go out with trying to win every game. Every game's got to be a priority. We're at the business end of this now, and it'd be stupid for us to give it away by being a bit complacent. It's another banana skin tonight. These boys were unknown and apparently are leading their league by 1,000. So, mate, another banana skin, but good to get a few goals and be well and truly in front at this stage. So it's good.
Yeah, and the other thing is they came out absolutely firing, didn't they, that first 20 minutes? We were saying you've got a game on your hands here, and they didn't look like they were going to go away.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely. We a couple of bad clearances from some long goal kicks, and Brady Parker's in on goal, mate. He's always dangerous. You've seen his left foot tonight. He's always dangerous, mate. And just lucky not to have conceded early on, and they've hit the post a couple of times, mate. So they're not a bad side, but we just I guess been putting the ball in the back of the net a little bit better than them, obviously. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, Scotty, you've been quite clinical tonight, but you mentioned when we were walking over for the interview, you mentioned the pitch. What were your thoughts on the pitch out there? Obviously, you're not used to playing on this surface. However, you've kept the ball really well. The speed of play's been really good, and I think, good performance by Zuri today. Charlestown today.
Mate, it is a difficult pitch. It's very, very slippery. It's very, very skippy with the rain, and mate, the ball is moving very, very quickly. If you miss a pass by half a yard, it's hard to adjust. A couple of times there, you see blokes throwing legs out and sort of giving the groin a bit of a scare, but mate, it makes it easy to play good football when you're hitting feet and the ball is moving that quickly, so it's good.
Mate, assuming that you do go through this game here, do you think it'll just buoy the team a little bit more to, all right, we've made it this far, let's go one more?
Mate, it is. It's like I said, we're at the pointy end of this part of the FFA Cup, and I mean, one more game you get a trip away, or you get a big home game against another big club in Australia, mate. It could be an A-League club, and I've played against the Jets once or twice, but they're just it's another big game, and one of those things you don't you don't sort of think about playing at this level, and it's good to have that opportunity.
Yeah, and look, clearly the top four is the priority, but this would be like icing on the cake.
Oh, for sure. For me, grand finals always a second to winning the league. I think it's more important for me, or more important, I think, to get there past the post first, and to win the grand final. It's either a consolation or icing on the cake. So, mate, it's the biggest day of the year, but for me, to win it over 20 rounds, 22 rounds is what it's all about. But this, again, another thing to strive for. It's good.
And just one last question, Scott. Obviously, your partner in crime, Goodchild, has been out injured for quite a while, and he'll be back in a few weeks, hopefully, for him. But Callum Lewis is doing a great job up front. I think your combination's been really good. One dropping off, one staying high.
Mate, Cal, I said in the paper the other week that Cal, he's so dangerous at times. I don't know what he's doing, but mate, it sort of helps that he's hard to play against. He's so hard to play against. We've played together now, I think maybe 8 or 9 weeks, so we're starting to get a bit of combination and a couple of flick-ons and sort of bouncing the ball to one another, and it's working really well tonight on a slick pitch. So, mate, I don't think he takes away too much from the side at all, mate. It's fantastic having me.
Yeah, well, it's good, and good luck with the next round, assuming that's the way it's going to go. It's looking that way, and thanks for coming. So. Yeah, and thanks for coming to join us,
no
Scott
Thanks,
Smith.
CT.
Thanks, Scotty.
Thank you.
There's a clearance from Minus. Scott Smith is off to have a shower, is he?
He's going camping at Gloucester for a long weekend, he just yelled out. So I've never seen someone take off so quickly after you've interviewed him, CT.
Yeah, well, maybe it was a combination of us both, and it'll be nice and chilly up in the Gloucester area, that's for sure.
Well, he's sitting comfortably on the bench when I asked him for a quick interview, but then all of a sudden you've spoken to him, he's just bolted.
That's quite possible
Had
too,
to get rid of
Smudge.
somebody, CT.
And really well spoken as well, Scott Smith. Great to have a chat to him. Great for him to give up his time as well.
Yep, policeman by trade, so you always be on the good side of Scott Smith.
Exactly. I think he saw you last night, didn't he, Smudge?
No, I was a good boy
When
last
you were-
night.
It was a waving run. We've seen a substitution while Scott was having a chat. Tom Fruin headed out onto the pitch for Christian Penny. And Charlestown see if they can grab another late one. Jake Stitt. Pops a little bump for his troubles. And it is getting a little bit cold. It is getting a little bit cold, and the fog is just rolling in. And Smudge, unbelievably, very believably, CT's got out the gloves. Come on. The gloves.
No, he's got out one glove.
one.
He's got one glove holding the microphone, the other glove's in his pocket. Actually, the other glove's on the bench here. They're in here.
Here we go. Daniel Minus, Jake Stitt falls back, and somehow the ball's been kept out. What a chance that was for Callum Lewis to grab his second. And Boambee clear it away. Can they grab a late goal? They deserve one.
Just on Boambee, you must say, they are fighting right till the death. They're 5-0 down, but they're still continuing to fight right till the death. Good on them.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and that's a sign of good characters within your team. You could go 5 behind and give it up, but they haven't done that. They're certainly, as you say, Smudge, plugging it right to the end.
Tolt forward to Purcell. And he tried to dink it away from Lachlan Moy. Moy again. France. Neat touch. Charging is Fruin across the face. Couldn't find strike on target. And now he's pulled up lane. Tom Fruin, the substitution.
Yeah, Boambee, yes, keep going.
Very lame at the moment. So 6 minutes to go. Round 6 of the FFA Cup, I should say. And Charlestown leading Boambee by 5-0. Scott Smith with a hat-trick, Callum Lewis with 1, and Aidan Gardner with the other for Charlestown. There's the clearance from Danny Ireland. Now we're attempting to take a selfie here in the commentary box. This is interesting. We'll see if CT's ability to take a selfie is all right. May say that later. Zach Lloyd. And Sakamoto threading it through. Jared Purcell already a couple in the FFA Cup. He decides to dish it off. Danger not gone though for Boambee. It is now. And what? What is going on here?
It's like the Benny Hill show in here.
Is that
Parker launches.
Brady? Is that Smudge's ringtone, CT?
Yes, it is on my phone, actually. The Benny Hill show. Look, we were saying before, that Boambee have just not gone away. They keep plugging all the way to the end. There's 4 or 5 minutes to go, and they're going to go home disappointed, that's for sure. However, they're staying with us right till the end, and that's certainly a strong trait of theirs.
So Danny Olin to get play back underway. And CT, speaking of the Benny Hill music just going off there, I think that means it's time for a joke when Smudge's Benny Hill themed ringtone goes off.
Well, this is not actually a joke. This happened. So my brother, 59 years old, affectionately known as Animal, is down in Sydney at the moment with one of his mates, and he's got his snout firmly in the trough, no doubt. He tells me he's going to take up what he says soccer again. We call it football now. He's saying he's taking up soccer. But he went to go and get some shin pads, and he's not really happy because they got the sizes all wrong. And I said, why? What happened? And he said, one's large and one's regular. I said, give me a look. I said, Animal, are you kidding me? That's left and right. He didn't take them back.
God. I think there's only one thing to say about that, and I think that goes on the lines of... Anyway, so we don't get taken off YouTube, I can't play that for a long amount of time. Here's
Joke's getting
Lloyd.
worse, mate.
Yep, once again, here's Matt
Throw
Tull.
ball.
Threads it through. Zach Lloyd, well slotted by the former Jets youth man to make it 6-0. And that seals their place through to, well, more than seals their place through to round 7 of the FFA Cup for the very first time. Haven't been further than round 5 before this year.
Great interchange with Tull and Lloyd, and well finished by Lloyd in the bottom right-hand corner. Don't you love that? Ball's in defeat. Forward run beyond the back 4. Well played by Charlestown.
And the finish was just absolutely inch perfect, wasn't it? And that takes them to 6. And you think that if it wasn't a priority, it's certainly become what you would expect a formality. And at this point, we'll see how they approach to the next game.
Well, Lowe and Callan Lewis in a bit of a tangle. It's a heavy touch from Purcell. Miners. Lehman bringing it under his control. Now Callan Lewis. Able to swivel away. Now Purcell. Just had the ball nicked as he was about to strike on goal by Jake Stitt. He's done a good job in goals. Made some superb saves. The draw for round 7 will be on at 8 o'clock tonight. That's on the Northern New South Wales Facebook page. It will be live streamed. Make sure you check it out. The big 4 clubs through. 4 big NPL clubs: Charlestown, Hamilton, Magic and Lambton Jaffers. Callan Lewis just got the ball caught under his foot for a moment. A possession away. Brady Parker, he's toiled manfully out there this evening. Trying to find Lockie Moy. Tull. Parker will attempting a little chip and chase. And Zach Lloyd, I should say Callan Lewis, has just cleaned up Brewster there. And Mark Carter not going to bring out the card as he's been urged to do by the Boambee bench.
Just here, I think it's very important for both sides there's no late injuries because they've also got their NPL to play next weekend. Obviously, Charlestown are going to be playing midweek in the round 7 of the FFA Cup. But Boambee, they've got a big NPL game next weekend.
Well, they're equal on points with Coff City, but they do have a game in hand on them. So I want to keep winning. They're on 22 points at the moment. Coff City equaled them on 22. So an important few weeks ahead for the Bombers. Callan Lewis. A push and shove between Lewis and almost gets cut down by Parker. I'm not impressed with Callan Lewis after that challenge moments ago, which brought down Brewster.
You sense a bit of frustration creeping into this one, Smudge, and really, for me, there's no winners in this point in the game. You were just talking about you don't want to get any late injuries, etc. That there's no point.
Same with Callan Lewis. He's been a bit fiery at the moment with the Boambee players. If I was him, I'd just pull back a little bit. You don't want to get a silly injury.
At this
injury
time of the
time.
game.
Yeah, exactly.
And that would not impress your coach one bit.
And he's been close to best on ground too, Callan Lewis. He's been superb.
Well, he sure has been, and certainly doesn't want to give anything away at this point physically.
There's Tull. Up into the midriff of Brady Parker. Got his boot in and around Tull. Couple of minutes into stoppage time. The curtain will come down on Boambee's FFA Cup journey. Ball attempted to be knocked in by Lloyd. Is there a 7th for Charlestown? Stitt, so to block it away. Maybe one last chance for Boambee. Not to be. There's Lloyd. Brady Parker was flying through. And thanks finally to Instant Access Scaffolding for their support of this coverage. Head to them for all your scaffolding needs. Proudly partnering Bar TV Sports on this FFA Cup coverage. There's Ferguson, stepped away from Brewster. Comes more centrally. So mazy run from the left winger from Charlestown, Sakamoto. As the ball nicked off him and doesn't look good for him. He's clutching at that right leg. Well, this would be disastrous for Charlestown. Sakamoto remains prone. But the Blues, they're history makers this side as they become the first Charlestown team to make it through to round 7 of the FFA Cup as they break new ground. And for Boambee, their journey ends at the 6th round of the FFA Cup. So it finishes full time here at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. Boambee 0, Charlestown City Blues 6. And it was just a lesson in how to be clinical from Charlestown this evening, CT.
Yeah, absolutely it was, and you know what? They were just way too strong in the end. Charlestown, you can see that the class was a little bit too strong for Boambee, but take nothing away from them because they came out intentionally right at the beginning. They had full intention to play, and they certainly did that part, and they didn't go away right till the end. And in fact, should be very proud of their effort.
Just may get an opportunity here to chat to Brady Parker, who's coming over. That tell as well. So goal scorers for Charlestown. Zach Lloyd grabbed one late. Scott Smith with a hat-trick. Callan Lewis with one also, and Aidan Gardner, who scored the first of the evening. I'll hand over to Damien Smith.
Okay, Matty Tull, Charlestown's captain. Mate, great result, 6-0.
Yeah, the boys did all right. We had a couple out. I think Lubo and Goody are out, so it's good for a couple of the young boys to get a chance, and we put a few goals away, which is good.
Yeah, Boambee started really strong. They had a few good chances. We'll be able to talk to Brody Parker in a second. They had a few good chances, put you under a bit of pressure in the first opening 15, but then you just came strong, and once you settled in, you're all right.
Yeah, I think the pitch was a bit hard to do with tonight. It was a bit slippery, and the ball's sort of bouncing away, so I think once we got hold of it a little bit and started playing on the deck, we looked a lot better.
Yep. So your thoughts? You're into round 7 of the FFA Cup.
Yeah.
Thoughts going forward? You want to get through to the round of 32?
Yeah, of course you do, mate. Trip away with the boys, and you never know who you're going to get. So it's always the beauty of the cup.
What, the Triple A?
Yeah.
Mate, we wish you all the best in round 7, and congratulations, mate.
And I'm here with Brody Parker. Brody, you and I obviously know each other well, and we had spoken about this game. Look, the boys came out in the first 15, 20 minutes and it looked like, you'd matched them. Yeah. And you guys were well into the game, but things kind of got away from you.
Yeah, mate, the first 15 minutes we looked sharp. We looked the best we've looked all season, to be honest, knocking it around, playing the ball, and I thought we had them on the back foot for a bit. If someone could score, it would have been great, but didn't bring his shooting boots today. But, yeah, fitness in the end, and then, look, Charlestown, the way they knock it around, they look really sharp. So,
you're obviously talking about yourself as someone can score. We'd been talking plenty about the strike power, and Charlestown were well aware of you, and you were getting plenty of attention. But you did have a couple of half chances.
Yes, definitely in the first 5 minutes. That was more than a half chance. I should have buried that. That was just, it was crap. That's all I can say. It was crap. But anyway, it is what it is. It's a missed opportunity. Should have taken it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to know whether it's going to change the game or not, because 6 is fairly convincing, and they were solid. But look, the boys have come in. We've enjoyed the way they competed, the right way to the end, and the people that have come with you from your club is admirable.
Yeah, the crowd, supporters, thank them so much for coming. Parents even made the trip, girlfriend's parents. So, yeah, thanks to them, and good luck to Charlestown next round.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of FFA Cup, the opportunity to play, against teams like this. So go and enjoy the night with the teammates, Brady, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
Thanks for the night. Thanks, Brady. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, ET, for the chat. Now, Smudge, just to wrap it up for the day, it's been a really important day for a lot of big sides from northern New South Wales. Yeah. Starting off the day, 3-2, Hamilton Olympic beat Edgeworth. That was a real shock. Second match, we saw a win for Broadmeadow Magic, 3-0 over Adamstown. Lambton beat Port United 8-0, and then 6-0. Charlestown hitting Boambee for 6 in the final match.
I think 2 points. I think the quality of football today has been, especially the pitch has made it good, because it's been nice and slick, it's been nice and firm and nice and real, hasn't it? The bounce has been real. The quality of football has been very good, but the spirit of the football has been great. It's been all clubs have played in the right spirit. It's been great intensity out there, and that's the beauty of the FFA Cup. You got an opportunity to put your club on the national stage, and congratulations to the final 4 in round 7.
And just finally to the teams from Port Macquarie and Coffs Harbour that have come here, it is a great opportunity for them as well. And when they are, in that position, it's a great opportunity to test themselves. So I've enjoyed watching the games, particularly tonight, and it's been a good day for football on the FFA Cup.
few too many F's, but anyway,
a long day.
We'll let you get away with that one, CT. All right, so this week, Tuesday and Wednesday, stay tuned. Big matches to come. So in 37 minutes from now, the draw will take place. If you want to see it, go to the Northern New South Wales Football Facebook page. The live stream will be up there. Check it out. 4 matches, 4 teams, 2 matches, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. The NPL show will be up on Thursday at 6:30, and then next weekend, Hamilton up against Adamstown. Should be another big week of football, boys. Thanks to you two for coming out here this evening. I bid you guys farewell. Charlestown winning the final match, 6-0.